Okay, and the last thing we have to talk about is some final thoughts on your reader. I know that a lot of times nobody looks at the readers, and I recommend that you do that. Um, the College Board always includes a current event as an inspiration for the question that they write. And so the more that you have context from the real world, the more familiar that the College Board topics will appear. Um, this was not a bad reader, and you probably have a lot of time, so I recommend that you check it out. But I thought I would mention a few things as I go. Number 29 is an example of strategic metals and how that affects international relationships. Sorry, I meant number 30. I hope I said that. Number 31 is about how mountaintop removal has been challenged. Technically, it's over, although the EPA announced a few weeks ago that they're going to start reconsidering mountaintop removal permits, which is crazy, but it's been over for almost 10 years now. There was a few presidents ago that opened up mountaintop removal. Anyway, number 31 has a couple details about how it's being debated in the courts. Number 32 should be obvious, probably isn't rocket science. You could skim that one. Number 33, we got to be clear about something. Old school incinerators burn everything mixed together. That's bad. New school incinerators have really complicated combustion where they insert specific gases to trash that's sorted by types. So if you take all the paper and burn it at 400 degrees in a high oxygen environment, but then you take all of the plastics and you burn them at 2000 degrees in a low sulfur environment or whatever, you can manipulate the chemical changes of that combustion to make just benign gases, or gases that you can even capture and use for something. So old school incinerators were a bunch of trash that you light on fire. Those were very common in the United States, where we got crowded, like around the Central Lakes, around the East Coast. Old school incinerators were just like brick buildings, and they would just back up the truck and light it on fire. And man, that's so dangerous because you burn plastics and paint and medicine and all that stuff together. It's just horrible, horrible, horrible. The most deadly substance known to man is dioxin, and the only source on Earth is incinerators. So the only source of the worst thing for human health is incinerators. Incinerators are really bad, but you can make fancy incinerators. They have complex systems. They're very expensive. They have guided combustion with mixed gases in and carefully dialed temperature to control outputs to make benign gases out. So that's what number 34 is about. That's also what number 38 is about. Number 35, about that thing I was saying earlier about the economics of where we ship our recycling. Number 36, options for diversion in people's homes, and also for source reduction. Number 37, vocab term, people cover landfills with plants. It's called phytocapping because that limits infiltration of water. The plants absorb it so you don't get too much leachate. So phytocapping is to cover a landfill with vegetation. Phyto, like phytoplankton, plant. Phytocapping is when you cover up a landfill so that you don't get infiltration of water. You also absorb more of the methane so you're not releasing greenhouse gases. Plants secure the soil so you don't get wind blowing stuff away. They cool down the air around it, so there's some other benefit to neighbors. I can't remember. There's a bunch of reasons why phytocapping is cool. And by the way, you can also myco-cap, M-Y-C-O, which is putting mushrooms over disposal sites, and that's really common for radioactive pollution because mushrooms soak up radioactive isotopes. Again, 38 is about making energy from trash. Remember that you can also anaerobically digest carbon in trash to make methane that's combustible. 39 about e-waste, worth reading. Remember that there are valuable things in e-waste. It's just tough to get them out. And finally, number 40 is just another example of gold mining. I usually show a movie. If you can find a way to get it, it's beautiful and really worth watching just because it's a beautiful film. No credit. But like number 40, you should look for a movie called Red Gold. Red as in salmon, gold as in things that are valuable. It's a movie that was published by Patagonia a few years ago about how mining affects headwaters and how those headwaters affect native populations and fisheries. And it is the most beautiful movie. It has the most spectacular natural footage that I think I show in any of my films. It's called Red Gold, and it parallels number 40 about how mining impacts rivers and people. That's it with the reader. I'm done with the videos. I'll see you all Monday, Tuesday to hear your questions. Bye.